It's your girl, Miss Londa. I'm back again. We have a good show for you today. We have Auntie Nell joining us. She's going to be talking about dissonance, anthropology behaviors. I also have my co-host, Podcast Lit Boom, with us tonight. So hope you guys enjoy this. Let's get into it. All right.
All right, it's on me right now.
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
Well, my whole objective right here is to just start a conversation. I believe that we're in a state socially, and most of the time it starts with the personal. So I want to talk about cognitive dissonance tonight and what that really is. Yolanda, you got that pick?
Let me see if I can pull it up for you. It might not let me. Like, it's been running slow. I noticed something earlier, but hold on. Let's see, share screen. I'm trying though.
Oh, that's okay.
Hello,
I'll just
Miss
pull
Belinda.
This
share screen.
Hey, cousin Linda. And let me see. I sent it. Well, cognitive dissonance. Okay, it's a noun. In psychology, it means the state of having inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes, especially as relating to behavioral decisions and attitude change. So a lot of people is like, okay, what does that mean? In reality, it means that there are two things that are true in the same moment for you. I think one of the easiest examples. In reality, it means that there are two things that are true in the same moment for you. Yeah. It's kind of like we live, especially as Black people, we live in a society of individuals who live in that cognitive dissonance. You'll have a conversation about race and why our group particularly is as poor as we are as a group. Some people believe, oh, we didn't work hard enough, or we didn't do this, and ignoring the factors of racism and discrimination that was occurring, or land losses and land thefts, or being ran out of your land that took your wealth from your family away for generations. So there's a lot of times we're always talking our racial issues in America in some level of societal cognitive dissonance. And on a personal level, we find, like, we'll see it with, like, Black superstars who say, well, it's up to you, the individual. They personally have lived in dissonance, saying, there's a reason why you weren't picked and I was to be right here and you're not. You know what I mean? There's only so many, knowing that there's only so much room, So we have, I don't know, I feel like it's our world's biggest problem. If we can get past the cognitive dissonance, we can start to actually have real conversations. But we sit in a society of people who always want to pretend they don't understand something, don't know something, or there's a reason for them. There's something more pertinent, something more important to them that they have to maintain. So they have to come up with an excuse not to change their behavior. And I know I do it in lots of different stuff. I'd rather go eat out than do my own dishes, even though I'm spending more money. It makes no sense. When I'm talking about I'm short on money, well, if I look at my behaviors, well, I don't want to do certain things. And I've made a reason why I don't have to. Though what I really need, it conflicts with my need to save money. It conflicts with my need to be able to expand my resources in another compartment of my life. But I've made that excuse that, well, I don't like this task that comes along with this project. So it's better for me if I just do it this way. But overall, it's not. And that level of thinking, how have we done that as a society? How have we done it personally? And how does it help us? And how does it hinder us?
Well, I go in. I ain't gonna let you take this cognitive dissonance on by yourself. I recently got into the meaning of cognitive dissonance. Maybe about a year ago, I just learned about this, and it's almost like a hypocritical thing, like but also it's like okay, so the example I like to use a lot is where a person say they on a diet, but then they want to sneak a donut in. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know you're not supposed to eat this donut. You know what I'm saying? You know you're not supposed to eat this muffin, but you still do it. But you believe in yourself that you're about to be losing all this weight, but you still sneaking in other things. Or, for example, when we was talking the other day, Miss Londa, we were speaking on people having to hold others accountable. So it's like I ain't messing with them dudes down the street because they sell drugs. But then I'm sitting here praising my brother for selling drugs. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like
Right.
it's almost like what she's saying. Like this basically we do have to hold each other accountable, and we have to start like that. Well, that's the answer. That's to go to the answer to your question of how do we handle this. I think that we do. Number one, start having to hold each other accountable. Man, we can't look at people as just because that's my sister, that's my cousin, and accept it, even though I have a problem with it. But I'm going to accept it from you. Like at the end of the day, we're not supposed to accept none of these things from nobody, including ourselves. Like you said, um, I know I come out cheaper going to the grocery store and making my own food, but I decide to go to the diner and eat and pay more, mostly because I don't want to clean up my house. But then let somebody call me lazy. Now we finna you know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? It's like, so it's like that's cognitive. This like, you know what I'm saying? So we do have to figure these things out, man. But I think it's just holding each other accountable. That's how I feel about it personally.
Yeah, that makes sense to hold each other accountable. But when you try, they're in their own dissonance. And
Facts.
so we're always in that uphill battle of dissonance. Um,
That's true. And that's the I don't know that's like I guess what have to happen is we have to start weeding each other out on that level too because it's like you're not gonna find me in the crack house unless I sell crack or I smoke it. Like you know what I'm saying? So if that's what you're gonna do, then I'm gonna let y'all be over there. All the crackheads, all the crack dealers, y'all need to be in one area. And then all the smart, you know what I'm saying? Like we can just
yeah,
majoritize this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it is gonna be hard to get somebody to think like, well, yeah, I just came out this area, but I'm still supposed to kick it with y'all. Like, no, because you're bringing that energy over here. That even if it's good energy, it's not the good energy that we need. Like, you know what I'm saying? It might be good energy for you. You might be feeding your family. Everybody might be happy over there. So now you got good energy, but it's still not the energy that we need because as soon as you come over here, you're gonna look at us on the things that we doing. Why y'all fixing computers? Well, nigga, we make money off of fixing computers. You make money off of that, but now you want to stop us from doing this. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like stay in your area. Like if that's the case, like if we're not gonna hold each other accountable, then you got to stay in your area, man, because you're not about to catch me in the strip club. Because I'm not gonna leave out of there, but nothing but excited. Like so, I rather just spend all my money on my woman. I know I'm gonna get my rocks off type shit. Like you know what I'm saying, but don't come at me because I don't go to strip clubs. Like so it's like I don't know. I think that you just stay in your own area, you stay in your own lane. If we not gonna figure out how to get past it, like you know what I'm saying. That's the only thing I think of. I could
yeah,
be wrong.
yeah. I hear that. I do hear that. Um, it makes the simplest. It's easiest to do, too. I think sometimes is to just say, "Well, leave that person where they're at." Then, and that's not. And there are situations where you got to, for your own safety and your own well-being, to walk away from something. And
Yep.
and then I think there's some points where sometimes I think of it in a way that it starts on the personal level, holding oneself accountable to one's own behavior.
Facts.
And then if you're individually doing it, it's likely you don't accept that from others when you're in those conversations. You kind of sit there and um, you kind of call them out as they come up because you're not sitting in that, and so
Uh-huh.
you'll naturally become in disagreement with anyone who sits in that. In any kind of levels of dissonance. Um, we see it on the news all the time. That's also another thing. Like one thing I like about Twitter is you have a space right there to hold people who are in power in some level of accountability, at least verbally, letting them know, hey, this is where I stand, and letting the world see this is where you stand. when you're given something that doesn't equate with the reality you live in. So, they want to talk about a tax break. Well, they want to talk tax breaks for parents. Okay, what about the singles?
Mm-hmm.
So a single person pays the highest tax rate there is, and you don't get no discount, barely get a work credit. And if you're not in college or you don't have something special going on, you're not a teacher or a doctor or something like that, you don't get any special nothing on your taxes, and all your taxes is going towards everybody else who needs it because you don't have no dependents. It's just you. The government does nothing for you,
It's
but
definitely the people.
they're willing to sit there and speak to everybody like that's the benefit for every single person in America. It benefits everybody, but it doesn't.
That's
And
true.
when you bring it up, everybody acts like, well, that's a non-starter. That's not even in the conversation. Nobody ever brought it up. Nobody brings it up as far as a tax. Where's our tax benefit? We allow and because we're saying, oh, we're a citizen, we're helping these other people. We got all these other reasons why we don't deserve any benefit as a single adult taxpayer. Um, it's kind of interesting. And societally, we've allowed a certain level of dissonance to come out of politicians and then accept whatever they decide within their dissonance as our new reality. Uh, I don't know. It baffles me. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm kind of at the situation where if we don't figure out how to stop creating these excuses for ourselves to maintain dysfunctional things in society, in our own personal lives at times, uh, what hope do we really have for the future and the kids? I don't have kids, but shoot, I got a lot of nieces, nephews, and cousins that's going to have a lot of babies coming on in the future. And there's a lineage being left behind. And what are they being left with? And is it because we like to make all these excuses for ourselves?
Well,
That's a
mom,
good question.
no, I'm not on mute. Yeah, that's true. A lot of times we make these paths and we don't understand why our kids like they are or what they coming out for, but we don't look at ourselves and even hold ourselves accountable or look at ourselves before we even start to speak on things. Or it's like it's tough out here because of the our prior situations, the way that our grandparents did us, the way that they parents had to go with the things that they had to go through. It's all like we spoke before. It's almost like a systematic depression. Like you know what I'm saying. Y'all put us in a position that we have to climb out. But not only do we got to climb out of that, we got to climb out of this. We got to climb out of this. Rocks falling down every time we pull ourselves up. Fucking rock fall down and we slide down. Then we knock everybody else down. And it's like we trying to dig ourselves out, but it's so much loose rocks for us to get past that it's tough. But I think that number one, we got to stop spending so much on everybody else's stuff. Even if we don't go black, it's just like, is it really that important? Does it like, do I really have to have this on to step out? Like, you know what I'm saying? Do I really have to do this to go somewhere? Like, first we got to start looking at ourselves and saying it doesn't matter what I do. I'm still gonna be me, and if you don't accept me, then I'll be around people who will accept me because somebody is gonna accept you. And then once we get past that, then that person will then, or those people will then be able to help us climb out of the ruts that we're in because they in the same rut. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to be, when you talk about the crab in the barrel situation, man, when we talk about the crab in the barrel situation, um, it's like we all in the barrel. But because somebody see you coming out, they not caring about what you coming out from or what part of the barrel you coming out from. They just see you getting out. So they trying to pull on you to pull themselves up instead of them holding your hand and helping you as you help them. Like, you know what I'm saying? So the crab in the barrel is like, it's crazy because at the end of the day, you guys are pulling us back down or pulling me back down, or I may be pulling somebody else back down. But at the end of the day, we probably need to figure out what barrel we in because all of us want to get out anyways. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to pull myself up, I'm looking at you like, well, you ain't doing this, you ain't doing that. And I'm not even where I'm supposed to be at. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even in the position I should be in with myself, but I'm still looking over there at you like, yeah, I don't see why you allowed to do this, and I don't see what you doing over here. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's weird, man. We got to get out of that crab in the barrel mentality, and more or less, we all in the barrel. Let's get it together. I don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes when I think about that crab in the barrel thing, it doesn't sometimes make sense to me, because a crab in a barrel technically can't reach the top lip to grab itself to pull over in the first place, but it keeps
Right.
trying.
Well,
And
the thing
it
about
keeps
the
jumping
barrel,
up there, but it never can grab that lip, because you put it in a bucket deep enough, it's in that bucket deep enough
but
where it
that's the
can't
thing
just
about the
walk
crab
out.
in the barrel, because the way that works is the crabs that's at the bottom is trying to get to the top. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And in return, they making the other ones fall down to the bottom. You see what I'm
But
saying?
you can never get out in the first place.
You can't
You in
get
the
out in the
barrel.
first place, but you can if you guys work together. See if they if they stop climbing on top of each other to get out, and maybe make a fucking line and pull each other out one by one. You push me all the way up to the top. You know what I'm saying? You get on your hands and knees. I climb on your back, and then I grab somebody else. I push them up to where they can get to the wall, and then once they get to the wall, they pull me up. I pull them up, and they pull the person up under us, get pulled up, and we just keep on doing that, and all of us eventually get out. But the reason that none of us are getting out is because as soon as somebody gets to the top of the wall, I'm pulling you back down, trying to get myself to the top of the wall. Somebody pulling me back down, trying to get themselves to the top of the wall, instead of them like, okay, you up there, pull me up. That's the problem.
Yeah,
That's the
and I hear
big
that.
problem. And how do we get to the root of that?
But not everybody back is strong enough to hold that many climbing on top of their back to get to the
That's
person.
why. That's why. If my mom is almost 60 years old. My grandma, she almost 80 years old. Of course, she's not about to let my big ass step on their back, right? So my job is to let them step on my back. But at the end of the day, when both of y'all get up there, then y'all supposed to pull me up, and you know what I'm saying. And the person that's maybe a little bit stronger than me is supposed to help me get up as well. Like it's about understanding who needs to get us to where we
Yeah.
need to be. And I don't know, man. It's weird. It's weird. I understand what you're saying, though.
Some organization,
Yeah, there it goes.
because there is no organization, there's no leadership,
There
and
it goes.
typically, crabs are independent people, right? They're
There
independent,
it goes.
and the reason why they can use a crab in the bucket with us is because they taught us to be individualized. They told us 3 or more in a group is called a gang. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to associate. You're not allowed to build up together. You're not allowed to communicate together. So you got 300 years of a group of people being told individual association amongst yourself as a group is prohibited. So what makes us think we should naturally come out of that thinking we should get together?
Gotta be taught. You gotta be taught at home, man. That's
And,
like it's a generation. We can't do it for each other.
Yeah.
We have to watch our kids do it. That's the
and
thing.
yeah, we probably aren't going to be able to do it, but preparing our kids. But see, our kids are also being conditioned in their own way too. We sent them off elsewhere. We sent them away from home to go learn what they need to learn for society. We sent them right to the lion's den and said, survive in it just like we did, and go whatever method they're setting forward for you. And now what are we telling our kids? And I don't think we've ever come to an agreement as to what we should do as a people. I think we've been told what to do, how to do it, but that's just about it. And we've just been going along the ways of what people say. Government has come and said, Martin Luther King said, nonviolent, this or that. It got government backing, and that's what we became. Whatever the government backed, whatever the European male decided was appropriate for the Negro in America, that's what we did. Anything other than, we've not done, because we've not been allowed or given the room or space or opportunities to, without violence in return. Because we got the movement in 85, and when they tried to do what they was doing, they were peaceful, built their own little group in society, and they were doing well, and other people were catching on, and other groups were starting to spring up around the country. Next thing you know, they got bombed by the Air Force. So it wasn't like, and this is 1985. So in the
I
middle
can't
of
I can't lie
Philadelphia.
to you. I kind of blame y'all.
Huh?
Blame who? Us? Is that what you said, Boom? You blame us? I don't know what happened. He was saying
Oh,
something.
maybe it's
Guess
Am
outside.
I
I
lost the
back? Can
sound
y'all
or
hear me?
something.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Y'all
Yeah,
can hear me good? All right, cool.
very
Um,
good.
no, I can't lie, man. I kind of blame y'all women.
How are
I
we to
do.
blame? Now, see, you did. How are we to blame?
Because, well, first we gonna
Why?
blame the government. We gonna understand. We go back to the Willie Lynch and we understand how they took the man out the house or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But with knowing that, that's almost a cognitive dissonance situation in itself. Because yes, we as men sometimes do stupid things and we have foolish things that goes on in our life that we brung on ourselves. But understanding why we in that position is for the women, in my opinion, to put that order back in. Um, you guys sit on the prize. I'm not gonna go too deeply into that, but I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. You guys sit on the prize to what most women won't, unless we're talking about some down low men, then that's a whole nother story on itself. But as far as most men, we want what we want from a woman, and you guys tend to. And I'm not talking about you two that's on this stage right now, but I'm just talking about your gender of people. You guys tend to give it to us without the background of what we do. And I stated that before on one of our shows before, Miss Londa. Like they tend to give it to us men without worrying about the type of men that we are, as long as we doing for them. And they don't even soon realize until after they didn't got pregnant or until after they didn't got in too deep and find out that this man don't take care of his kids or find out that this man doesn't do for his family and stuff like that. And so that's the reason, because once you guys got your power, in my eyes, um, you guys said, fuck that. We don't need y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? We don't need y'all at all. Like, what the fuck I need you for? I can get a job. I got food stamps if I can need to go sign up for them. I got housing if I need to go sign up for it. Like, really, what can you do other than listen to me? And as a man, no man is really gonna just sit back and let a woman talk to him crazy unless he just really, really soft hearted or soft minded. Like, but for the most part, as a man, he's not gonna want to hear a woman continuously talk down on him and he has to go out here and beg for a fucking job from this white man or beg somebody to buy his stuff because he is trying to have his own independence, but you looking at me as a black man, so you automatically think it's a ripoff or I stole it or whatever the case may be, that the government has put this picture on us. Which is why, again, like I said, I blame the women on that, because y'all have all the power. Like, we run to y'all when we hurt. We run to y'all when we got our ass whipped. We ran to y'all. Like, when we had them whips, we ran to y'all. And so it's like, at this point, don't no woman want no man running to him. Like, you know what I'm saying? And we need that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because we coming from getting our ass whipped out here in these streets. So when you're talking about a cognitive dissonance or a crab in the barrel mentality, most of the time the men is supposed to hold the situation up. We supposed to be the backs that y'all stand on. But we can't even let y'all stand on our backs because we barely got a back to stand on ourselves. Like, you know what I'm saying? And we don't want to run to another man, which is another cognitive dissonance situation, because it's okay for me to call my brother like, bro, I need $50, like, you know what I'm saying, but then turn around and say, nigga, I don't ask nobody for shit, like, you know what I'm saying. So it's just like, it's instead of just saying like I need, it's hard for a man to say I need, like, you know what I'm saying. And so when I look at the women, I'm like, y'all got to shut this shit down, man. Y'all got to shut this shit down and turn this shit back up and control the shit like y'all was controlling it before, like, you know what I'm saying, because we are the builders. Y'all make the blueprints. Y'all take the blueprints and try and build yourselves. I don't like that shit.
Here's the thing. I think that it boils down to, I think there's an anger on two gender sides. I think women have gone too far. I do agree that overall, so from what I've seen, the baby mama drama that these women have put the men through with not being able to see their kids, holding their kids hostage, a lot of things that don't need to be happening. But I also want to take into consideration, we're coming from being conditioned at a very young age with certain things we never should have been taught in the way we were taught it. And that started with schools teaching us about slavery. And I think this is where it all ended up. And I think there became a resentment from women that says, where is our men to organize and build, to stand up to white men? Why are they always running from white men? You want to say you're the man, you want to be the head of the household, and you want the patriarchal white male society, but you don't defend us like white men. White man come in and rape a woman, he'd sit there and watch.
And
And so
facts.
he'd be forced to sit there and watch or be beat while he's being watched.
Okay,
Not fighting for his life to die on her behalf. And I think, we became conditioned, and this is not to a fault of the Black male. This is trauma, and trauma from childhood, seeing it in childhood to adulthood, 300 years of some very torturous behavior. So I think what we have to do is forgive each other. It boils down to a level of, even for this nonsense that's occurring now, because this is it's bad. It's behaviors that are taught from people who are in such different levels of trauma. Then we have the crackhead society. If we actually look at our crackhead society, let's talk about the 90s and 80s, the group from the 80s and 90s. That group alone were born in segregation.
Facts.
And they were integrated by a military into a school system that didn't even want them as children. Then they were sent off into a world that didn't want to hire them. But what became available was a chemical warfare item, crack cocaine and heroin or whatever else came from Vietnam and all that other stuff. And that was a way of economy for the Black community. I think that we just got to get out of this phase of needing somebody to provide this thing for you in the first place. Once we get to, I take care of myself, you take care of yourself, and together we can take care of these things together, then you're okay. But if I need you to do this for me, and most people get some bum living in their house, living off of them, and ain't paying the rent and ain't doing nothing, and if it's good sex and that's it, or a good conversation, or he's cute, and that's enough for them because they got everything else. They don't need nothing else. I think as a society, what we need is our men to organize themselves. If you can organize gangs and go around shooting each other, you can organize to go those weapons, organize a military and have an emissary and diplomat and go talk to the European and get a treaty.
Now we got some powerful women who have started gangs too.
The gangs ain't organized, so they can't organize the gang. The gangs ain't organized.
And that goes back into what you said, Ms.Londa. That goes back into the whole Willie Lynch thing. Like when you talk about you break the horse. So when you take the actual gang members, the gang leaders, and you put them in jail for 3 pieces of crack for 50 years, you know what I'm saying? You take the strong ones and you take them out. Then the rest of them who don't have that mind, who needed that raising, don't become organized no more because they don't have nobody to follow anymore. I'm the man. It goes back to the beginning. Like, so when she said we did get beat, and had to enforce to watch our women get raped and wasn't willing to die for it, that came after. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that that's not an issue, because it's definitely an issue, but it did come after, because when it first started, we know that you took the strong men, the ones who was like, fuck this, we fighting. But what y'all did was y'all beat him half to fucking death, and then y'all made the women and children watch y'all beat him half to death, rip him in half with horses, cut his genitals off or whatever. And this is the strongest men that we got. These are some of the strongest men that we got. Y'all took them and y'all degraded them to the max. And once y'all degraded them to the max, once the new boys was born, y'all say, excuse me, I won't say y'all, certain females say, well, why don't y'all become together or be strong? But y'all got to understand, we was always taught, be home before the lights go out. Respect the police. Don't talk to them crazy. This is what we being taught after our strong man is gone. Because if our strong man was here, our strong man would tell us, no, handle your family and handle your business if them people come in here. But once you remove those strong men and you lead a woman to raise the children, including the boys, now when these men are being raised, they are being taught, Yes, you take care of your family. Yes, you're supposed to be strong for your family, but respect this white man, respect this police officer, respect this person. Like, so we be home before the street lights out. Don't talk to that man like that. We being raised like that all the way up into our 20s and 30s. Like, you know what I'm saying? So then that's what we teach our sons now, because that's what we was raised. But we didn't have our father because he was ripped in half by a fucking horse. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we on the same page. Like, you know, don't do this, son. Don't do that, son. Because we got taught that as little boys coming up. You know what I'm saying? We got made, we got our mentality got made like that. So now you got these dudes who are out here who are creating these gangs now without the strength or the organization that the gangs once had. But again, I go back to what you said when you stated, like, some of people have bums living in their house. Don't get it twisted. It is a higher percentage of males who go and live off a woman, but I've seen women who also live off of men. Regardless, it's still the same thing at the end of the day.
Still a bum.
Right, because oh, she cute, she thinks she this, that, and the other, so she don't even know how to cook, she don't know how to clean. Only thing she can do is got some good sex, like, you know what I'm saying. So you sitting here buying all this stuff, doing everything for her, not worried about what she can do for you. And at the end of the day, that doesn't build you as a man, nor does it show your kids what a man should be like. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough when you say the independence of it, because you're right. We do need to be able to do on our own and then bring it together. But that's what I was speaking on when I stated women are the ones who are able, the mentality that y'all have, the patience that you guys are inactively born with, to have certain patience. Like when kids are running around the house crazy, you already know it's men. Sit your ass the fuck down. What the fuck, la la la. Where the female's like, what's the problem? What's the problem? So y'all have a little bit more patience. Not saying that y'all not gonna get to the point where y'all gonna be like, sit y'all ass down, but y'all are more able to find out what the problem is before y'all say sit y'all ass down. To where a man gonna instantly go sit y'all ass down. So what we have to do, that's why I say females are able, with the patience that you guys have, y'all able to create the blueprint. We're gonna be sitting here trying to draw up the blueprint, and we're gonna get stressed about that shit. But you put the bricks and the sticks down and you say, here go the blueprint, we're gonna build that shit like a motherfucker. So we don't need you to go and cut down trees and pick up the bricks, but we do need you to make the house, you know, make the blueprint for the house that we're building. Because now we got to make it. You see what I'm saying? So I do understand the independence of it, but I'm not going. When you come to me, I'm gonna build the house. I may not be able to make the blueprint though. I can't even draw. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got the patience to draw, and I ain't got the patience to start over. I fuck up on the picture. I don't feel like doing this shit no more. Where y'all gonna accelerate again?
I think the independence needs to come before a relationship.
Yeah.
Learning to be independent before you even get into a relationship. That way the relationship works better. Like, you already have the mindset that we're coming as one and we have to help each other.
But what is
I mean, you know, some people just get in this mindset of, they just feel like, oh, I got evicted. I need to, instead of trying to figure it out and make going to live with somebody else the last resort, that's their automatic go-to. They don't try to do anything on their own. It's always somebody has to hold my hand or pick me up. People need to get out of that mindset.
But even having your own, you can have your own car, you can have your own house. At the end of the day, you might have 2 or 3 kids, maybe even one child. You're still going to need somebody to sit with that child while you go and work. So technically, you're not 100% independent, because your child still needs some care while you're trying to make sure that the child has what he needs. So when we're talking about independence,
like in my view, it's not about being able to be financially stable or anything like that. It's more or less about having a mentality that alone you can do what you do. You can even sit with yourself alone. And if you can't sit with yourself alone, you're a codependent person. You need another human being there at your side at all times to feel whole within yourself. You got to be independent, where inside you are whole. You are one being. You don't have to sit with a crowd of people. You don't have to sit with one person to feel comfort with yourself. You can sit in silence for hours by yourself. You can read a book by yourself. You're not bored easily, because that really, your boredom tends to turn into, that's where we look at boredom, loneliness, depression, the certain level of something that sets in only over loneliness, isolation, People say, yes, I'm alone, I'm isolated. That's why they, like, during COVID, there was a high level of suicide. People, first time in their life, they'd never been, they had to shut themselves in their singular personal apartments and not go out for weeks at a time. And it messed with people's minds, because this is the first time in their life they ever had to do anything alone, a whole day alone. And I think it's important to be alone, because if you can't be alone, how can you really be with somebody else when you can't be with yourself?
Now I understand the alone part.
You don't know yourself enough, or you're afraid of yourself. And then is that what you walk into relationships carrying, that fear of your own self? And then it's projected in the other things that are coming out, and the fights you're having with that other person, things you don't like about them. It's the same things that you've been running from inside yourself, that you've never been able to sit with within yourself. The thoughts, the floods, the history, the past, all the bad things, all the good things, everything come rushing at you. And then you use other people as an avoidance to those things. And, I think it plays a role into the cognitive dissonance, because we've not ever made adjustments as an individual to not make an excuse on why you can't sit with yourself and be just with yourself, your own thoughts, going through things in your head just for yourself. You need a shrink to do it with you. You need a book for yourself. You need this for yourself. Something on the external can never just be what's internal. You don't trust yourself enough. Well, if you don't trust yourself, you can't walk into a relationship trusting the next person. So you're going to have that jealousy issue, that all these other things. And we walk around with our cognitive dissonance pretending that don't matter. But everybody always says, if you don't love yourself, how can you love somebody else? But nobody wants to look into, what does loving myself look like?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I agree with that.
Oh no, yeah, and I hear that crab in the bucket, people pulling each other down. I don't think there's anywhere to go. And there's no way, no matter how many times we step on each other's back, there's always going to be, it's not even going to be the person pulling us down. It's going to be something coming on top, putting a lid on.
I think that it's more room once we get out of the barrel, though. I think that instead of us all trying to build in one house, it's like it's a whole bunch of land outside. We just got to get out there and build on it, and we are stuck in this area trying to get out there, and we stopping everybody else from getting out there, not realizing that once we out of this area and we out there, it is so much space for all of us to do something, but it's hard for us to realize that, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody can't sing, everybody can't make a beat, but at the end of the day, instead of me sitting here telling you can't sing, or sitting here telling you that you shouldn't sing, maybe I should be trying to make the beat for you to sing on. You see what I'm saying? But I'm having an issue with myself because I can't sing, so I'm telling you that you can't sing. Instead of saying, you know what, let me see where I fit in on your situation. Everybody's not going to be the star. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's the problem, that everybody wants to be the star instead of figuring out where they fit in on this situation. Because just because you think you can sing when you're in the shower don't mean that you're going to get 100,000 views. But this person you may not like how this person sings, but they can get 100,000 views. So why don't you get in on that 100,000 views and say, well, yeah, that person sung and I made the beat. And you shouldn't even have to say that, because if you make the beat for the person, then the person singing should be like, hey, this person made the beat. But instead, they're going to crab in the bucket mentality. It's my song. I did this. I sung it. You see what I'm saying? And they're not even giving no credit to the person who wrote the song, no credit to the person who made the sound to the song, or none of that. It's just me. It's just me. It's just me. And I think that's where the problem comes, because then you start looking into the independence of it. I did this. I did this. No, you did not. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's somebody gonna help you somewhere. Yes, you can sit back and watch a movie by yourself and make yourself feel better. Yes, you can sit around and read a book, or maybe you don't even need none of that. Maybe you can just sit there and meditate and just think in your own brain. But at the end of the day, somebody taught you about meditation. That shit didn't just come to you. You had to watch some type of show. You had to read somebody taught you how to read this stuff. You didn't just inactively know how to read. Like, somebody taught you something. So when we talk about independence, on me, And I think that it's
Yeah, you
more.
can only do so much because we're a society of people, you know.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was just saying, yeah, you can only do so much as by individual.
Yeah, you're gonna need some type of something. I think that independence to me is more of a knowing that I can do this without needing a person, but understanding that I can
But
use this
actually
person.
applying it though too.
I mean, it's like okay, I'm gonna figure out how to pay my rent regardless. You feel me? If if you ain't gonna watch my kid, you said you was gonna watch my kid, and you're not gonna watch my kid. That's all right. I'm gonna find somebody else to do it. That's the independence in me. I'm not gonna wait around and sit and wait for Miss Londa or Miss Nell. What is it, Miss Linnell?
Yeah.
Miss Linnell. I'm not gonna sit around and wait for either one of y'all to say, "Hey, I found somebody to watch your child." But at the end of the day, the independence in me is gonna be, boom, I found somebody. Y'all said y'all didn't want to do it. I found somebody else. That's the independence of me. I'm not about to sit here and wait for one of y'all to do it. But at the end of the day, I can't run around here and say, "Oh, I'm independent. I'm independent." Because at the end of the day, even though y'all didn't say y'all was gonna do it, I still need to find somebody else to do it. I still needed somebody else to do so I can go do whatever else I needed to do. So I think independence is just more of us knowing that we can do it regardless if somebody does or not do for us. I think
Yeah.
that's what independence is.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah, but
really
don't
good
you think
explanation.
it's important for people to apply it though? Because a lot of people don't apply it.
Yeah.
No,
Like make
they
that your
don't because
first go to is what I'm saying.
and that is the problem. That damn there is the problem because if I sit here and say, "Oh, I can't go to work today because Miss Londa didn't watch my child. She told me she was gonna watch my child and she didn't, so now I can't go to work." That is not independent. Oh, I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna figure it out later. That's not independent. It's like you should already have your stuff lined up. You should already know. Okay, I got Miss Londa saying she gonna do it. I got Miss Linnell saying she doing. I got Miss Nee saying she gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? So if Miss Londa can't do it, I'm gonna holler at Miss Nell. If Miss Nell can't do it, I'm gonna holler at Miss Nee. You see what I'm saying? You should have it already in order to where you don't have to stop doing what you got to do in order to figure something else out. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to do it by yourself. I just don't see it. I don't see nobody. I never met a person who did something by themselves. I never met it. I never met them. Independent. I never met it.
Yeah, you can't. Well, I think independence is more of a mental thing, and I don't think it's something you can do with your tangible reality. Um, I think independence really is about being able to be with self and knowing self. And once you have that down, the rest becomes easier because you know your limitations. You're honest about your limitations too.
There you go.
Um, and that comes to the point where those who aren't honest with themselves, I realize I don't have a support network. You know, I want to be independent, but I ain't got a support network. I want to be financially independent, but I ain't got a support network to help me when I got 5 kids. Or, you know,
or to help buy my product in my business.
yeah.
I
I
still
mean,
need
no matter
somebody.
what the situation might be, without your support network, if you have to be independent enough to build one. That means that you got to be
Yeah.
a person people can trust, and you got to be able to trust yourself. You got to be um you got to be there for you, because if you ain't be there for you, you can't step up to be there for nobody else. There are a lot of times where I'm not there for me to be present to somewhere else. And I have to own that, you know. And in owning that, then you say, okay, this is my limitation. This is what I can and can't do. This is how much I can do when I do something. And putting those boundaries out there and being able to work within them and finding the community and the support network that will support you in those boundaries, you know. And there are some points where you're going to have to push past your boundaries if you really want to achieve what you want to achieve. And
Mhm.
if you don't have it in
Yeah.
you or the support network to help guide you to those things, and you don't have the motivation and things like that to take you to find other resources when it's not in your first network, because you might have thought you got a good network, but that network wasn't built enough up. You still got to build your network up more. You thought you was cute, but then you realize, oh, I looked over and there ain't nobody in this network that can help me with this. Whoa. Now you got to go out and expand your network. Are you capable of doing that? Yeah, you have the energy to do that. Um, and a lot of people aren't honest with themselves. They might think they do, and then they don't. And then they're frustrated when they hit that wall because they're not achieving the goal that they're meeting. and then everything falters because of it. And they're running themselves thin. They ain't sleeping, they ain't eating, they sitting there passing out, and because they've been neglecting their physical health and their mental health, they spaz out. We have a lot of little things, and that's why I say cognitive dissonance can actually, I think it hurts us a lot more than it has ever helped us as a species, as a group of people, as humans, period. And I think that goes across. It don't matter what class.
It's basically like going against your beliefs. It's basically like I know that this is how it's supposed to be, but this is how everybody else doing it, so I'm gonna just do it, even though I know that everybody else. I mean, even though I know this ain't how I feel. I don't feel like this is right. I know this ain't right, but shit, everybody else doing it.
Yep.
And that's a bad way to go about it, like you said. But it does become hard because it's like, shoot, I feel like I want to eat vegetables all day, but everybody around me they eating meat, like, you know what I'm saying. So it's like, do I start cooking meat now because Miss Linnell like it? Like, you know what I'm saying? I know she coming over, so do I cook meat or do I just, hey, you gotta take these vegetables today? But now Miss Linnell don't even want to come around me no more because she's like, oh, they only eating steak, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't about to eat no steak, like, you know, or this nigga only eating cucumbers and shit. I'm not about to eat no cucumbers. I want a steak, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, well, I like Miss Linnell. She's so cool. She's very, you know what I'm saying, intelligent. I can learn something from her. But in order for me to get any of that from her, I gotta cook steak now. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's
or she can bring the steak.
No, I mean she can, but at the same time, though, again, I got to deal with that's the cognitive. Excuse me, that's the cognitive dissonance right there, Miss Londa. It's the fact that I don't care for meat. I don't have a problem for no type of meat. But in order for me to be around you, Miss Londa, and I'm not gonna cook it, you still gotta bring it to my house. I don't fuck with it at all. But in order for me to fuck with you, I gotta go against my beliefs just so I can be around you. That's cognitive dissonance.
Well, I don't really see that as going against your belief because you're not eating it. She's eating it.
That's like saying,
and you're not buying it. She's buying it.
But that's like saying
in his face though, and then who's got to prepare it? It's got to be in his pan. I'm gonna bring my own pan, my own oil, my own everything before I'm gonna cook with it, or should I just go to his house, let him eat what he eats, and enjoy the way he eats what he eats, rather than insisting that I need to have what I have to have to make it where he can
and
be.
And it's on both ways, and it goes both ways because it's like, in order for you to even come around me, you know that now you gotta be around me eating all these vegetables that you don't eat, but you're gonna go ahead and accept it just to be around me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So let's take it all the way down to something simple, Miss Londa. Let's say you needed my help setting up your podcast, right? Everybody else you done asked was like, they charge you $400-500 to help you set up your podcast, right? But you hit me up and I'm like, shit, I'll do it for free. I got you. You the homie. I got you. I know everything to do. Everything gonna be perfect. And it's a fact. Like, this ain't no fake nothing. Everything gonna be right. And I'm gonna do it for free. So you saving yourself $500. But the only problem is that you hate marijuana. But I smoke marijuana every 10 minutes. And you hate being around marijuana. You see what I'm saying? But so are you going to go ahead and take this free service and get your shit set up the way that you want for the next 3 hours and be around me smoking weed? Or are you gonna go pay that $500 because you ain't really liking weed like you said yourself? Are you going? What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna get my shit set up for free and be around the weed.
So they're going to cognitive dissonance right there because you're going against your belief.
I think that's compromising, though. I mean, I don't think there's nothing wrong with compromising.
No. It's compromising. You're right. But that's the same thing as cognitive dissonance because you're going against your beliefs. You don't like being around marijuana. That's just something that you don't do. But you're willing to go against what you believe in order to get what you want. And that's what she's speaking on when we were talking about how our community is. Like, we do so much, we accept so much just because we like being around this person, or we want to be around this person, or we want this, or we want that. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, they having a card party. I don't like being around weed, but all the family gonna be there. I want to see my people. I'm going anyways. I don't. You know what I'm saying? That's the cognitive dissonance that's going on in our community as far as letting people run around and shoot up the block, but then letting them come in our house and eat dinner tonight. It's like, I don't want you out here shooting, but I do want you to come over. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want you out here selling drugs, but I do want you to come through. I don't want you out here doing all this other weird shit that you already doing, but I still let you come around instead of holding this person accountable. Like, no, you cool, Miss.Londa, you cool, boom, but I'm not rocking with you. You ain't doing what I believe in. And the cognitive dissonance is us allowing people or ourselves to do the things that we just really believe, that we do the opposite of what we really believe in, man. That's really what it is.
Like the best examples is always within abusive relationships. Uh, the cognitive dissonance happens. I love him. I have nowhere else to go. Pretty much isolated from family or friends and community, and that individual is kind of stuck accepting the behaviors. They know it's dangerous for them. They know their life is at risk. They know they're going to get harmed. They know they shouldn't stay, but they made up every excuse under the sun to be there, though, and to remain in it. And most of the time, a lot of it's just fear. But just even the that in and of itself is cognitive dissonance. And I think when we make those compromises, we are always compromising something. And is it time to not make those compromises
That's what
for
it
the
is.
good of our community for the
I'm gonna say
long
it
run?
depends. I'm gonna say it depends because I mean you can't just shut out everything. Like that's like somebody saying they don't eat chicken. I'm not gonna go around somebody because they don't eat chicken. That no.
It's not, but at the
There's
same
nothing wrong
time,
with
you have to.
compromising. If I didn't eat meat and you don't and you do, I don't have a problem having meat there. Well, he eat meat, but I'm gonna eat the salad and let him eat the meat. What harm is that doing? I think
No, I
that's a
think
little too
that.
much.
So that's. So you gotta come outside the box when we speak on that. That's just an example. What we trying to say is there is a person that is going to eat salad like you. What we trying to say is there is going to so instead of you compromising with me because you didn't call this person, that person, that person, everybody about to charge you 500. You don't like being around weed, but I'm finna do it for free. If you keep on having that independence in yourself and not compromise what you believe in, eventually there's going to be somebody who don't smoke weed who gonna do it for free as well. But a lot of times we compromise and we go against our beliefs and we just go ahead and I'm gonna just be around this person with some weed and I'm gonna just go ahead and let them do it because they're doing it for free. When eventually it's gonna be somebody who don't smoke weed at all that's still gonna come around. We just ain't seeing it right now because they're gonna independence. We not putting that pressure on ourselves and that belief in what we believe in to say somebody gonna come around me that's gonna do this for a good price or for free, that I don't have to be around them because of this and because of that. Like when she was going into the domestic violence situation. These women are beautiful, but they decide they want to sit here and continue getting beat on or giving every excuse in the world to why they're going to deal with this domestic violence, not knowing that there is a person out there who ain't going to touch them, not at all, and do the same thing that this brother doing, slash, not touching them. But instead, they want to keep on dealing with this, going against what they believe. Because no woman wants to just sit there and get beat on. But at the same time, it's probably something else that's keeping them there, i.e., she ain't got to pay no rent, i.e., with the food refrigerator, always food. She ain't full. She ain't got to put no food in there. So she compromising getting slapped around, or he compromising getting cussed out, all for the fact that he ain't got to worry about buying no food. Not understanding that you can get not worry about buying no food from somebody else who ain't gonna downgrade you or degrade you. You know what I'm saying? But we in this position and we like the other things, so we accept the bullshit.
Yeah.
But that's
And
what I'm saying. Independent. If you learn to be independent, you would never feel like you would have to be in that situation and accept that because you depended on this person to do everything for you. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about independence. Stop depending on people for everything. Yes, you need help sometimes, but you don't have to put your full independence in somebody. You don't
You're
have to
right.
do that. So to put yourself in a situation to be abused because you don't want to pay rent, you want to have a lavish life or whatever, you're going to accept that abuse to have that when you could just get up and get it yourself. That's what I'm saying.
So imagine, imagine having a big ass pool in the backyard, right? Your man that got you a big ass pool, big ass house. You got the jacuzzi tub, the walk-in shower, the walk-in closet. You got all this other stuff, and he's basically degrading you as a person. You are going to walk off from this, and I'm pretty sure you know what I'm saying, most likely Miss Linnell, I'm pretty sure you guys are going to walk off from the situation. But the person, put yourself in that person's shoes who can be dependent, but understand that they're gonna go get them a nice little house, and it's not gonna be the pool in the backyard, the walk-in closet, the jacuzzi tub. It's just gonna be the shower and the tub together. The backyard may be okay size, maybe not, maybe enough for a kiddie pool. You know what I'm saying? It may not be that big, so you gonna walk off to get that and leave the luxurious life because you don't want to be beat on. I say I'm all for it personally, but I'm speaking on this person that's in that position. They are thinking like, shit, I'm not gonna be able to afford this big ass backyard with this nice ass in-ground built pool. Like,
then you find something within your means. Like this, that's too many excuses for me.
it is. That's what we
I'm
just
just
did.
not gonna do it.
There's a lot of people in that position.
And that's what we just stated. That's what she was just stating. Like it's gonna be the excuse after excuse. Oh yeah, you walking around with a black eye, but girl, I got a 15 feet deep pool in my backyard. Like the black eye gonna heal. Knowing she don't want no goddamn black eye. Or
What good is that pool gonna do if he hit you the
He's
wrong
gonna
way
come
and you
back
fall
with
in
a
the pool?
15,000.
Now, you know what I'm saying?
He gonna go with $15,000 necklaces and bracelets to say sorry, and he gonna take her on a vacation somewhere to Bahamas. And he might beat her up while they out there again, but she in the Bahamas, so she don't care, Or he getting a new whip next month because she gonna put all her check on it, and it is what it is. Whatever your excuses are to be in something dysfunctional, no matter what, and we do that with Black people, as with white people all the time.
And it's not just domestic violence. It's not just what you eat and what I eat. This is what she's saying is this is an all around situation. You could take that situation again, put it on your brother, put it on your sister. They are out here doing the weirdest shit ever. But you don't get yourself out of this position because that's your brother or your sister. You're using every excuse in the world to not stop dealing with your brother or your sister or your own child. Your own child is out here wilding. But you're using that as an excuse to why you won't stop dealing with your child. Oh, that's still my child. Oh, that's still my baby. I've been with them since they was born. I carried them. I took care of them. I signed the birth. Whatever your reason is the reason that you're going to still continue dealing with your child, knowing they out here doing some bullshit. So that's what we're saying. It's not just about what you eat and I don't eat, or you beating on me or I beat on you. It's the whole fact of us continuing to go against our beliefs, because at the end of the day, we'll let our child might, and I'm not saying y'all again, I'm speaking in general. We'll let our child speak from or steal from us. Take something right out of our purse or our wallet. But then let somebody from the outside come in and take something out of our wallet. They might not ever be able to speak to us again. You see what I'm saying? So our beliefs is we don't want nobody stealing from us. But then when it comes to our child, now our beliefs change. You see what I'm saying? So that's the cognitive dissonance of it. It's like we go against what we really believe in, and it's like we have to really, for me, we really have to start holding everybody accountable, child or not. Like,
okay, let's say that. Okay, let's get back to that, holding people accountable, and then sticking to what we believe. We ask Black people all the time, you think you free? No, we quick to say no. We quick to also wake up every morning and go to work. Where is the cognitive dissonance? Automatically in the fact that we think we got to get up and go and work for these folks. And we know that every time we go to work, it makes not us rich. So at what point are we just continuously dismissing the reality all the time in every little thing? That's where I'm at with it all. I think that it might be from the personal, from domestic violence to just the way we deal with our everyday brother, sister, cousin, mothers, and friends, and how we let them get away with the little stuff, to how we deal with it as a group of people in society, the impact of our cognitive dissonance. And is our own cognitive dissonance as Black people, ignoring the system we live in, ignoring that what they keep always saying, segregation. Have you ever thought about what segregation really was?
I mean, I figured it was just these people over here, we're allowed to be around them. We got to do our own thing. Like we can't
separation from a certain group being separated from others and putting into one box, pretty much.
Like the water fountain over here, the blacks over here, the whites over there, your water fountain over here, our water fountain over there. That's how I felt segregation was.
That's what they like us to think it is. Not to say that that didn't happen. When we went into areas that were white dominated, they did those things. But that's not what segregation really was. Segregation was our independence that we had earned from the Emancipation Proclamation. It change how you see segregation if you know what the Emancipation Proclamation says.
Now that's about them releasing us as far as the war. You go to war, and then once you get out of war, as long as you went to war, you get your freedom. You get your freedom as far as no. That's the releasing of all slaves other than Texas. It was one of them.
Yeah, it's a release of the slaves that were in particular slave states. But what was very significant about the Emancipation Proclamation was that we were free from the dominance of the United States government. We were a sovereign people under the Emancipation Proclamation. So
Which is why I don't like people supporting the 4th of July, but go ahead.
Yeah. So ever since the Civil War ended and the Emancipation Proclamation became what should have they created the law to be. Because this is the issue. Are we citizens? Are Black people citizens? We were never citizens until 1964.
That was the Civil Rights Movement, right?
What?
That's the Civil Rights Movement.
Well, yeah, they compared it to horses.
Segregation was our one opportunity where we were supposed to build government. We were supposed to take the lands that we had, utilize them to build institutions for ourselves. They were supposed to give us the military and Navy as a way to help us build those things so that we could be a free people, a free group, a sovereign group. And they were never to do anything to take that away, which means that we can still use it today. We can still do it today.
But
we just never did.
So
what would we do with it?
Huh?
I said, but what would we do with it?
That's where we go back into.
See, when
what
they
belongs to us.
Go ahead. Oh, my bad.
We need land. So if we make a claim to the United States, it should be on the very first one, the first breach of contract that they ever had with us, which was the land.
And so we need to learn how to grow. We need to learn how to mate our animals and reproduce our animals. But a lot of times we don't know that because of our situation, the systematic depression. I call it systematic depression. But yeah, when we talking about being released and actually being released from slaves, it's that 1865, 1867, somewhere in there. When we're talking about that, you release a whole bunch of people who don't know shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? First off, we wasn't even allowed to read. So once you release me as a 35-year-old man or 26-year-old man, once you release me, I'm out here just dumbfounded. Like, I don't know how to read shit. Not to mention, we talking about niggas lynching us left and right just for fun still, all the way up to 2 years ago. Or was it this year? I think the lynch law just came in this year, if I'm mistaken. It was like, it's like a federal, it's like a terrorist or some shit. It's something to do now this year, 2022 March. Like, so that's crazy in itself. Like, damn, y'all still allowed to lynch us.
But they'll pretend that they don't have nothing to do with slavery. But what about all the terrorism and all the other stuff since then?
So it's like we when we got released dumbfounded anyways, man. But I think that that's why I go back into the women, man, because once y'all start forcing us, I don't give a fuck how much money you got, dude. I don't give a fuck how much cars you got. I don't care what your shoes cost. And none of that. I don't even really care what you can do for me because, again, I can get my own food. I can get my own housing if I needed that. And I can also do it myself. So I really don't need you. So once the women start forcing us to take care of our family, then our sons will see that. And then once our sons see that, I think it really...
Why do we need to force it, though?
Because, like I said, like, first off, we already had the $40 generation. We got the whole OnlyFans situation. We got all these things to where women are able to get it how they live. They can get it however the fuck they want. They don't need a man for nothing. So our job is to figure out what we can do to get you to like us. And that being, we go and spend our money on y'all. So we thinking we take care of the woman, we good. But the woman, and that's all we need. We're not taught to take care of nobody else. Like we just not taught that shit to take care of nobody else. We've been released, not knowing how to read. Fathers took it from us from whatever, whistling at a girl or fucking having a little bit of crack on them. So our fathers took it from us. We was raised by women, and we just come out here and we do all this pimping shit. We do all this player shit. We get niggas telling us, "Oh, you ain't no player. You ain't this, that, and the other." So then we learn this from our men. We learn this from our older men. We learn this from our older men. Then we go out here and we run this game on these girls. We go on here and we figure out how to get this woman when this is what we thinking. Okay, we got to have some type of money. We got to have some type of nice car. We got to have something. We got to be very independent. And then when we bring it to you and we say that we independent, you're like, okay, that's cool. So now every man thinks that we got to be independent to get the woman. We not thinking the woman gonna like us more if we take care of our grandmother, or if we take care of our kids or whatever. Y'all don't even figure that out until after we 3-4 months into the relationship. Nigga, you don't even take care of your kids. When last time you talk to your grandma? You even talk to your mom? I remember even my grandma telling me, like, if a man don't ask, or if a man don't respect his mother, he not gonna respect his woman. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times and so a lot of times females don't even look into that. They wonder why this man's so disrespectful. They don't even know what type of conversations he be having with his mama. Then finally, when they get deeper into the picture, she like, oh, you talk to your mama like this? He be done cussed her out for getting in their business. Like, at the end of the day, if you knew this in off rip, then you wouldn't accept him. And then if every other woman knew these things about this man off rip, they wouldn't accept him. And then us as the rest of the men will see that, oh, she not accepting this nigga. He got a whole nice ass car. He got a bench outside, but she don't accept him. Why she don't accept him? Oh, because he talk crazy to his mama. Well, you know what? I better respect my mama. You know what? Let me respect this. Let me respect that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think that once the women start to put that in the air, that we're not accepting you for just about what you got, a lot of the other men won't work for just to have something to impress a woman. That's my thing. I think that women are easily impressed if a man is doing something and don't look at the other things that he do. He just, oh, he got a nice job, he got a nice car, he got a nice house, I'm gonna accept him. Don't even know that he talked to his daughter crazy or talked to his son crazy or how he treat his child. You know what I'm saying? So I really feel like once y'all put that type of energy in the air to where, nigga, I'm not dealing with you unless you take care of your grandmother, unless you take care of your family, literally. Then, boom. I don't care how much money you got. See, a lot of times it be that, oh, he doing for me, he giving me this, he giving me that. They don't care about what else he's doing outside of that. Like, as long as he's doing what he's supposed to do by them or doing right by them, they don't care about the rest of the shit.
No, that's true. That is true.
So if we talking about changing the community of people, we're talking about changing these young men that's coming up. They can't see that a man was accepted for what he had, because then that's what they're going to do. That's all I'm saying. It has to be forced to where our daughters know, nigga, don't accept nothing from this man unless he is doing what he literally is supposed to do. The women have to be on the same page, like, and then the men will start coming out like that. At this point, it's just all about what you can do for me. What can you do for me? That's all I ever see. Now, if I'm wrong, y'all tell me I'm wrong. But I have never seen or met a woman who have asked me, do I do anything for my grandmother? Have asked me, do I do anything for my mom? Most of the time, they just ask you, do you got kids? And if I say, yeah, they're like, all right, well, that's cool. As long as I'm glad you're being truthful. They don't ask me, what do I do for my kids or how I do for my kids or nothing. But it's just like, oh, you got kids? All right, thank you for being real. If I say I don't got kids, then they're like, oh, you lying. I bet you got some kids out here. But that's it. Like, it's never, what do you do for your mama, bro? How is your mama doing? How is your grandma doing? How is your uncle, auntie, and them doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Then you go over to the grandma's house and she fucking 80 years old. She don't even got a banister to walk down the fucking stairs. Like, nigga, it only takes $60 to fix the fucking banister, my nigga. $60 to put 3 pieces of wood on the stairs for your grandma to hold on to walk down the stairs. But they don't care about those things. So our community always gonna be fucked up. Our grandma's still gonna be breaking their hips. We gonna be breaking our hips when we get older, unless we get some type of respect out of these children. The only thing I can see is to stop accepting the bullshit, man. That's all I can see. That's all I can see.
That's about right. I mean, really, we've made too many excuses already for a lot of bad behavior. It's kind of like a whole American society. Let's just talk about that, inclusive of white folks and all. You hear they talk about freedom. We got freedom, but they got a military. and they got nuclear bombs just ready to go off everywhere. How is anybody in this world safe or free with such power out there in the world? How can we ask children or ourselves even to be so honest about everything when we can't even be honest that we're living in some of the most destructive times there ever was in society? And all it takes is one group to say, we don't like you this much, and push a button and destroy things for thousands and thousands of years.
That's why we got to come together and live our lives the way that we want it, because we will never be able to take over. I don't believe that we'll ever be able to take over as a black community, because once we even get to the top, to where the man is sitting by the button, once he see that we bust through them doors, he just gonna push the button anyways. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, we should be coming together, getting our energy up together. So when y'all do push the button, we all going down together as a people any fucking ways. Like, you know what I'm saying? We ready to fight. We not worried about dying. We not worried about what y'all can do to us. Just don't come over here fucking with us until y'all push the button. Once y'all push the button and we see all the rockets going around, that's cool. We'll just kumbaya together. We'll turn on our music, we'll kick it, we'll drink, we'll smoke until the fucking bombs land. So fucking what? Because at the end of the day, I do not believe that we're gonna be able to take over. It's just I don't see it happening. But I do see us coming together and being amongst each other and living a happy life. And if y'all come over here fucking with us, then you die. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, we gonna fuck with us. We ain't gonna fuck with y'all. And if we do fuck with y'all, it's on a positive level. Excuse my language, y'all. If we do deal with any other race, it's on a positive level. No, we got big old fraternities and schools over here, and any person of color can come in here. But don't come in here with that old 1967, 1848 attitude, bruh. Like, come over here with a clear mind, and we'll deal with you with any race that you are. But if you come over here with that 1845, 1776 attitude, then you getting fucked, you getting messed up. You feel me? So at the end of the day, I don't believe that we can take over, but I do, like you said, we do need some land, but we also need to have some organization within our own community, which is then again, we have to weed the people out. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're crazy, you want to shoot everybody, shoot these motherfuckers that's coming down the driveway that's on that 1876 attitude shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Shoot them. Don't shoot us because we accidentally stepped on your shoestring or because I got something that you want and you can't get it. I'm supposed to help you get it. Most of the time, I'm walking down the street with the big ass chain and big ass watch. Dude's looking at me, and I'm not even gonna give them a glance. Only time I'm gonna even look at them is because I think that they want to take my shit. I'm not even thinking, man, let me show you how to get this, bro. Let me show you how I got this watch, bro. You know why? Because if I show you how I got this watch, then you might be able to take the girl that I got. Because the reason I got this girl is because of this watch. So that's the reason that you might take her. You know what I'm saying? If I show you how to get this necklace, you might take my position because now you got the same thing I got, and it's the only reason why this person wanted me anyways. Instead of it being like, again, I go back to the do you take care of your grandma situation? Do you take care of your family or whatever it is that you're doing? So now you can have a big chain like me, but guess what? You still can't get her even though you got the big chain like me because she loves me for being that family person. She don't love me for what I got. So I can show you now I have no problem showing you how I got it because you still got to take care of your family. You got to go to that level. You got to go through other things that I do other than just get money or whatever the case may be. So you just got to come together, man.
Yeah, that I mean, yeah, it has to be a package deal. It can't just be one piece. Yeah, you can't. You want to fry some chicken, but you ain't got no flour, no egg. You ain't got no salt. Right. You ain't got nothing else. Go with it. That's gonna be some nasty old chicken.
Right. So again, I can show you how to get it, but bro, you still gotta learn how to cook it right. Your shit gonna come out brown first, but trust me, I had some burnt chicken and I had some undone chicken. I done had to cook chicken 10 times before I figured out how to get it perfect. You feel me? So I'm gonna show you how to get it, but you still gonna have to do this shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's like, what are we doing, man? Is we gonna come together as a community, or we gonna stop choosing people for what they got and choose people for who they are? And that's just anything. Is that my friend? Like, you know what I'm saying? My homeboy. Just cause he cool and we smoke every day, don't mean you gotta be my homeboy. If you out here acting wild, bro, I can find somebody else to smoke every day that's real cool, bro. Like, period. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. We gotta start choosing our people. That's my ideology.
And I do believe that we do have to make choices that are best for ourselves in our life, and that choice is to. For some people, they feel like that choice is their dissonance, and what I'm just asking is that people double check if that's your best choice. The dissonance you chose to live in, is it your best choice? And it's kind of like when you go vote, we're going to choose the lesser of two evils rather than saying, I'm not going to choose evil at all. And let them see, as a group of people, we're not choosing between your wrongs. We're not choosing one wrong over another wrong. There should be no such thing as the black vote come November. There should be a black no vote. The black vote.
Oh, okay.
The black Democrats, the black Republicans. There shouldn't be none of that. Shouldn't have been. How you gonna choose the lesser of two evils? You're still choosing evil. And you wonder which evil is gonna hurt you less? Versus, we got all this energy to run behind one of their people, but nothing to build within our own.
And that's still scary too, because with our mentality, I can't even tell you. Listen, I'm not even gonna lie to you, Ms. Luna. You can put me in the senator's seat, you can put me in the mayor's seat of the city, but I can't lie to you, man. I don't know what my thoughts would be. And it's just as from coming from the black community. I can't say I'm speaking for everybody black, but I think I am a little bit. But I don't know what my position would be if I'm sitting here in the senator's seat and they say, bro, if you change this rule, we'll put $20 million in your bank account tomorrow. I don't know if I'm really going to be able to say, no, I ain't changing the rule, even though I only got $100,000 in my bank account. Like, I really got to be mentally strong. And coming from the community I come from, $20 million, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? With my
so are you saying that it's a possibility you might sell us out?
I'm saying that's why I am saying that that's the reason why we've been sold out by a lot of black politicians. I am saying that. So I can't tell you, you're dangling $20 million in my face talking about nigga change the rule and the whole black community behind me.
How about $20 million? You take that $20 million and that rule puts 100,000 black men behind bars.
Right.
Is that $20 million worth it?
It's not.
It still might be for you if you only care about you.
So then we got to go down again. Then we go down the road again. Am I the person that when I was in the hood, everybody dogged me? The females wouldn't look at me. I couldn't get no friends. Everybody said I was a square, la, la, la. I got beat up when I came home from school, and then I became a fucking mayor, and you told me I could get $20 million and $100,000.
So you going to make the world suffer because of a group of people, what a group of people did to you? Everybody else got to suffer.
So you telling me to say the hood that disowned me?
The whole hood didn't disown you. Certain people disowned you. You can't take it out on everybody.
You can't.
The thing is that's the point. The point was to already divide and conquer. So we already got Willie Lynch working real well. Because you'd rather have dead presidents who enslaved your ancestors in your pocket. And that's the problem to begin with.
That's the point I'm trying to make. So when we're talking about even putting our people in position of power, this is a lot of times when we talking about going out and voting or the black vote. We can get a black president in office, but is he really going to do for us? We can get a black president in the office of the mayor's or the senator's seat, but is he really going to be there for us? A lot of times,
what's black?
Again, I mean, shit, black didn't become a color until we got over here, from my understanding. So I thought it was, more or what I'm saying? That was the color I know was more. They call them more people, and that didn't even consider you black. I think it was just meant that you had some type of color towards you because you had the Spanish, the Hispanic people, you had the French, you know what I'm saying, or these people of color, and because they had color on them, they called them Moors. Like, you know what I'm saying, they didn't even call them black, white. You know what I'm saying? I think that didn't start till we got here. If I'm not mistaken.
Well, like I'm saying, like Obama, he's Nigerian, he's Kenyan and white.
Yeah, I never considered him black. I never considered him
he's an African American. The immigration status of an African American. He's of African descent and but he's, biracial, mulatto. He would have been a lot of other things.
Because I was about to say, if that's the case, Joe Biden black.
Technically.
If we talk about African descent, Joe Biden black.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, as much as his family was raping people, for sure.
And
You know,
everything came from Africa. Everything
I'm sure
started
that's
there.
how Obama got his percentage of black.
And I think we fucked up on that, honestly, man. Going to vote for that man just because he was some color. We really fucked up on that situation, but that's a
you
whole
did,
nother.
because if you had to look at history, history says you are of your mother and your mother's class. That's American history. American is your mother. So who cared if who your father was? Your father was irrelevant when it came to the law. And Don Obama, he was a constitutional attorney. You know, he knows the Constitution like the back of his hand. And he knew that the Constitution at one point said you are of your mother. So if he was born back when from his mother, he would have never been a slave to begin with.
Not to
And unless
mention,
and only he would have been an indentured servant until he was 21. At which point he would have not been, as long as he didn't remain a vagrant. He had the class of his mother as a freed person.
and not to mention, all of us, that cognitive dissonance, because I know dissonance has so many different meanings, but the cognitive part of it, that right there, us all running out. Because I think I was able to vote for, was I turned 18 2005. So I was able to vote for Obama. I think I voted for Obama. I'm not sure. I don't think I voted for him the second time, but I know I voted for him the first time. And that's cognitive dissonance right there, because I was already taught that the government ain't for me. Period. It's always been told me the government don't care about you. The government don't care. So as soon as a black man get office, I go against my beliefs to go vote for this man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Cognitive dissonance. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just that simple. Like, not even knowing what the wrong or good was gonna come out of it. Just the fact that he was a person of color, he doing something that I don't even believe got my back. But since he's doing it, I'm gonna go and vote for him. That's like the whole, you want to say cognitive dissonance, nigga, say everybody who voted for Barack Obama probably had some of that in them at that point. You black? Oh, we vote for him, period. Like, it didn't matter. Knowing that the government don't fuck with us.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of us, I think, a lot of people voted for the first time ever in their life. Had a reason all that time until that Negro showed up. Okay.
Hey,
All right. Me too. I ain't gonna lie. I fell for the okie
I
dokie
ain't even
too.
gonna lie. I never voted until he read. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, but I mean, think about it. We thought that it was gonna really help. Like, hey, person of color in office. We finally got. You know what I'm saying? We're not even looking at the puppeteers or who really in control. We just like, we got a person of color in office. Vote for him. Go get him. Go get him. That was like super bait. Like, oh, that was super bait right there.
It only came to a point. I didn't vote him the first round. I voted for John McCain the first round. Second round, I voted for Obama because you finish what you start.
Was it John McCain the first time or was it the second time?
No, John McCain was the first time. Second time, John McCain already, his brain tumor was all bad by then.
So who
So
was the
he was
second
the
one?
first round.
Because
John McCain was running on the first round, and I like there's something truthful about John McCain that I liked, and you know, as a kid, he was something of an intrigue because he would go against the Republican Party when he needed to. He'd go with the Democrats when he needed to. He had a relationship with a lot of different people. He's part of the Uniparty in some capacities. But there's also something honest about a racist who's a racist, you know? So I can deal with somebody who says, I don't like you. It doesn't hide it from me.
I'm sorry, I read her comment, Mommy and Peanut. Hey, throw that up there.
If you don't like me, you don't like me. I know how to move around you. If you're gonna smile in my face, like, or pretend you're in my crew, but all you're trying to do is hurt somebody on the under. Oh yeah, then yeah. Now I ain't got time for you. And that's Joe Biden. That's all the other ones we see and what the Democratic Party has been doing this whole darn time, smiling in our face, stab you in the back and smile at you while they're doing it. And you're supposed to smile back and you're supposed to do it gleefully. And we've done that too many times, and we've allowed them to destroy our homes, our communities, and our overall society along the way. and we've done very little to make a change. We've been waiting on an existential, somebody on the outside to come in and do something for us. Jesus Christ, somebody coming to save us.
Oh, he made a change, all right.
You know,
Hey, I ain't
and
gonna go today.
do I believe in the statement that Kanye says slavery was a choice? I believe slavery. There comes a point where you either do what they say or you die trying not to.
Facts.
And there was that choice at all times. And yes, there came a point where you endured it under a choice to live. So there's a choice to live in there, not just a choice to be a slave.
And that right there, that's what I was laughing at. He definitely said that on his own mouth. You ain't black if you don't vote for Biden. And it's so crazy that he said that, and a lot of people was voting. And I think that a lot of people had missed over. Like I remember the 95, the 93 Con Bill, whatever, with Bill Clinton and stuff like that. I remember that because my dad was a part of that shit. So I remember Joe Biden being one of the people who forced that situation, knowing that they brought the drugs here in the first place. So for him to even say that you ain't black when you don't vote for Joe Biden was like, what? Nigga. But everybody was looking at Donald Trump's situation and all this racist shit that was going on. But I think they stole it anyways. I think that a lot more people voted for Trump and it was just stolen, if you ask me. But that's another story as well. But
I wouldn't doubt any of that either. That they doing a lot of what I know is black people ain't behind the scenes controlling none of that. So what they say, I take with a grain of salt because it could be any old kind of thing.
Man, they
might have already decided. They probably just them little machines ain't no different than what your teacher used when she sliding your little test report through. So God knows if it got it right, if they count it, if they can even organize all that and do all that.
If it even matters.
I don't care what they say. We're not the group who controls it, and in the end, they're not. Only reason that the founding fathers are anybody's fathers is because they were rapists. And so they're not nothing I need to deal with as a like that. I don't own on to the Constitution. I don't own on to anything that is in the side of this government because it's not mine. It reminds me of what Malcolm X said about the house slave and the field slave, and what makes a house Negro. What makes that person that? That master, our house is burning is the theory that he used. Not your house is on fire, our house is on fire.
And you got to be
but you can't sleep in it. Only thing you can do is clean it.
And you got to be light skinned. You couldn't be dark skinned. You couldn't be dark skinned. If you was dark skinned, you was doing the cooking, bringing the food, all that. But in order for you to really be in there getting some more, you had to be some type of lighter color. Like they had to be able to deal with what you looked at. Like get your ass outside. Like that's crazy, man.
Yeah. And even then, you didn't want to be that person either.
Because you're getting smacked.
You know what I mean?
They gonna
you didn't want to be pretty. You wanted to be dark and ugly, and nobody wanted to touch you. No, that was the best to be. And
what they say about George Washington? All his teeth was the slaves.
Yeah, he used his slaves' teeth for dentures. Sure did. So my whole thing is, we have to really look at. Here's my honest God thing. Anybody who has a child K through 12 right now should be in their school history class, right? You're not showing one movie to my child. You're not allowed to show history to my child.
You sound like a robot.
Make your child get up.
Breaking up a little bit.
Every time. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. So every time they show a movie in a history class, your child should get up and walk away. It's subliminal messaging. You're just sitting there now allowing them to inflict your child's mind with all the things of that movie without context and with a description in the book that says this is the law and this is how we work. That's just it. Sucks to been you. Aren't you lucky not to have been there in that time, black child? And then they go home and they see the world they do live in and all the other things that have been from that. And then they expect that child to come to school and see white people the same.
Definitely.
And then wonder why our kids are walking out of their schools, turning their minds off to everything else that comes from that institution.
That should have depressed you, man. That should have had you out here ready to kill whoever. I'm saying you got me sitting
They're
here.
psychologically torturing our children.
Mm-hmm.
Using history using the concept of supposed history. So they want to talk about CRT and all this other kind of stuff out there. No, take the entire history course out of schools. I want my child to know about the history of this country. I will tell them.
Right.
You're not allowed. Don't allow your child to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Do your child know what it's pledging to? Does it understand that it's pledging to the Pope as its king and white as their governance?
I don't know. I don't know if the kids still pledge allegiance. I'm gonna ask my daughter.
A lot of times they do in certain, like especially the early age from K through third grade. They tend to keep it right there. They want you to know that Pledge Allegiance. You got to rehearse it. Pledge allegiance to the flag. How is a child pledging? That's a contract. Are you making a child do that? Is that not indoctrination?
Because I definitely pledged my life away, goddamn it.
Right. Well, I mean, every darn day in school.
I get every morning. That's a part of
celebrated 4th of July. I'm out this bitch like 4th of July. Let me get my 4th of July outfit and all that. Like,
but did you realize that you were pledging to white supremacy?
Didn't know until I was able to do my own history.
And so, why would we let our children go to their schools and do that?
That's why
did you let your kids do it?
That's why I don't like. That's why when I watch these basketball games, these football games, I hate when people of color be sitting there singing the Star Spangled Banner. Like, it's like, y'all know. First off, this shit is about them getting their independence from their country, and secondly, what do they do after they got done singing this shit? Like, you know what I'm saying? They have fun with us. They killed us, beat us, raped us right after they got done.
Their independence included our enslavement and the genocide of the indigenous. So every time you celebrate their independence, you're celebrating their genocides.
Big facts. And now they gave us fucking once everybody's starting to wake up just a little bit. Now we want to give you June 17th. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now you get Juneteenth. You know what I'm saying? But we should have had this years ago. Like, you know what I'm saying? We had our own independence, but y'all ain't, you know what I'm saying? Y'all didn't force this shit in the air. Y'all forced the 4th of July, and we did it. We cooked out every day.
How can we even celebrate Juneteenth when we're not independent?
I was just gonna say, I mean, we got Juneteenth, but then they don't even respect it.
Yeah, you just fucked me up.
They don't respect it.
How can they respect something that we subjected ourselves to? You got a social security number. You say you're a citizen. You are subject to the jurisdiction thereof. You are not independent. You're a citizen. You're a subject. And so, again, it's our dissonance.
I'm about to say, here comes the cognitive dissonance, because now I'm about to be like, damn, do I celebrate it? Do I don't?
We can't celebrate nothing. We have indentured ourselves. We have allowed them to say, we ain't segregated you. And while they sit there saying, see, the Emancipation Proclamation made you free, but you never read the Emancipation Proclamation to see what your freedom entailed. Never read it. They give you a part of it to read, but then you didn't comprehend it. If you did read it, you're too young to really comprehend it. And by the time you could comprehend, you had already signed every document and your whole life over to them in the first place. Now you got to go to them and say, I don't want to be that. And then hope they don't try to kill you or get rid of you for wanting what you want because of the reason you recognized you were their citizen in the first place. So you kind of stuck between just accepting the behavior, really.
Because now I gotta be like, no, I can't come around y'all because y'all about to have a June 17th party. Ain't this about a bitch?
You goofy. Like, to me, I don't do June 17th because we ain't free. We ain't independent and we never were. Well, our ancestors at the time, they weren't free because they were if they had the land before Andrew Jackson. They had that brief moment. And then when Andrew Jackson took that land back, that was the end of that independence. And then the segregation being put into these wards is what they called them. They called them wards. And they're all around the country. And some of them, they had concentration camps. They was killing folks. Left and right. They were burning those areas down, running you down and killing as many of us. Did you know if we outnumbered whites in the 1950s and stuff like that, before the immigration really took place with the Jews and the Europeans and stuff coming in, if we were outnumbering whites, where did the drastic drop come from? The drastic genocides that they were occurring. Now, they told us about the 200,000 men that they killed in the concentration camp, but they didn't tell us about the other concentration camps and how many people died in those and how many in the millions it came to.
With the $5 Indian, $5 scalpel, the $5, where they paid you $5 just to bring back an Indian scalp, 25 for the head or some shit like that. When they did all kinds of shit.
You know, those Indians' heads was just as black as our faces.
Yeah, indigenous. That's what they say. We the indigenous ones. We the ones that they really did that to, but they don't want to give us the real story because then they got to give us the casinos and shit like that. And that's what
they got to give it. Not just the reservations. The entire deed of the United States belongs to us.
God damn, what?
The entire continent, from New York all the way down to California. And if they had to give up their entire deed based upon their own law, they'd have to unsettle this land. They have to, they're a military. They're an active military right now. Like we didn't read the Intercarta. Read the Intercarta. Read Dum Diversus. Read Doctrine of Discovery. This is where we're occupied. We're an occupied people. We're prisoners of war under all legalities. Until we are completely independent of European domination and control. That means their constitution cannot be our constitution if we are supposedly freed from their enslavement. It cannot ever be our constitution. That's the bottom line. It's not our law. It's theirs.
Together somehow, some fucking way, man. We got to come together and die together. That's the only thing I can come up with.
And that's pretty much it at this point. At this point, we have to recognize who we really are and what we really are. And if we are not honest with ourselves, then we're going to leave our grandchildren and great-grandchildren in the same position we find ourselves in. Begging to survive by people who want to kill you.
That's true.
And that how will we live with ourselves in our next life or in our afterlife, knowing that we left that mess for the next generation to have to work with? What can we start in this life? And what I think we need to do is we need to stop asking for reparations for slavery and start asking for reparations for racial terrorism that has occurred since slavery.
Big facts.
Because you can't go back to the past. But what you can do is you can, fraud for land deeds, land fraud under common law in the 1700s when they got here, it was illegal and they had to actually pay a multifold for doing that kind of fraud as well as return the land to you. We held them accountable for the genocide of our society based upon the land theft and lying that they instituted a breeding program to hide our indigenous from us by bringing in the African, but didn't negate our indigenous title to this land. And if we claim it, they legally have no deed. And any law that they created was in color of law. It was to break a law, to break their law, to honor, because they didn't want to have to honor the land deed with the proper descendants. We have a lot of claims that we could make as a society of people, and we're choosing the ones that are being chosen for us by those who have sworn an oath within Greek fraternities. So their allegiance, their conscience allegiance to the European means that we cannot, anybody who's a part of a fraternity or a sorority would have to be completely isolated. You could never really have a college graduate. You need an engineer who's self-taught. We need individuals who are going to be self-taught individuals, not those who have assimilated, quote to quote, conscious assimilated into European society and wants to elevate themselves within European society. And this is where I don't go with the ADOS group, the ADOS group. I don't go with a lot of other groups, the ones who are too religious or anything like that. I tend to stay away from all of those because their allegiance is to white supremacy, the European being in charge. They might be in charge because they can violently force you to do anything else. That doesn't make you powerful. It just makes you a violent person, a violent group. And I think our definition of power has to change. Power should not be based around how violent you can be. Power should be based around how you can sustain your society healthy, strong, educated, as well as you can secure the safety of your own people and their well-being. But power needs to be based upon other aspects, first and foremost. And if you're able to maintain defense, great. But power should not be given based upon your ability to destroy another violently. Because if you destroy everything, what are you powerful over?
Right. So we have gone way over time.
Oh, yeah.
Great conversation, though.
Yeah, it's a great conversation. We can pick up on this later. Or, next
sure.
Saturday. You guys tune in next Saturday again at 7 p.m. Auntie Nell will be back again with some more.
Oh, this is what we doing, Miss Nell? This is what we doing?
Yeah, we're going to be doing this.
I fuck with you. I rock with you. We're going to do this. I'm with you.
Yeah. Anybody got a topic for next week you want to do? You want to stick on this one?
Let's do a different topic. Let's switch the topics.
Well, we're in the group, so we'll talk. Excuse me. We're in the group, so we can send some ideas. We can throw them in there.
Okay, throw some ideas. It'll be based around behavior, like other behavior things that we want to talk about. I don't know. You was touching on. I like the concept that we could pick up where you was talking about the women and men and how things that we could do to kind of unite our sexes. Maybe we should talk about that.
Bet.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he had some points. I like tuning in.
See you tomorrow on tomorrow's show, and Auntie Nell will be back next Saturday, 7 p.m. Don't forget to tune in. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.